All right, out here with Coach Ed Gonzalez with Tactical 21. I am very fortunate to be able to come up on occasion and train with this guy, reinforce the principle of proximity. And so we made it out here on the range today, and I've had a question that I've been wanting to ask you for a while. A lot of times when we get into the close quarter gun manipulation, and you've seen this because we've done this, I like to try to turn them, get behind them, or put them in a position of disadvantage. A common one is when I do that, I'll try to apply pressure. I'll run into them, I'll drive them. It gives them more to deal with. I'm trying to clog up their OODA loop, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So when I am able to achieve that, whether it's from the front or the back, the question is getting the weapon system online. I commonly will come out and, you know, my firing angle is generally a downward firing angle.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get your feedback on what I'm doing and if there's any way that I can improve it for my training.
Well, when it comes to that kind of close range engagements, at that kind of distances, one thing that we want to take in consideration is that we want to create a 1 degree separation and split the body. So we have the head area, we have the chest area, and then we have the pelvic area. If I'm fighting for the gun down in this area, then my shot is going to be on top. If I'm fighting on top, then my shot should be on the bottom. The reason why I create that degree of separation is because I don't want to end up shooting myself. Right? When I'm fighting, there's a lot of movement, a lot of pressure. Things are happening very fast. So with that degree of separation in the body, then I have the opportunity to take a accurate shot or effective shot and be able to stop the threat without shooting myself in
That's
the process. But, you know, at these kind of distances, when we're talking about firearms, the first thing we want to do is we want to start creating that distance that buys us the time to defeat our government and then be able to draw the gun. If you have an experienced fighter that now we are at these kind of close range situations where we're pushing and grappling, then my shot should be down into the pelvic area.
Okay. That's fantastic because that's one of the things we'll do regardless of if we're in front of them, to the side of them. We'll try to build a frame of some type and just drive them.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just to keep them busy. But we also will frame low. Commonly, if we see someone, we call this forming the V, we'll try to frame that and drive into them and keep the hand pinned.
Mm-hmm.
And you were shooting on a higher line with that. Mm-hmm. What does that look like if I were doing that lower frame?
Well, first thing I want to do is I want to create the accessibility to my firearm. So if I'm going to create the accessibility to the firearm, I'm going to have to blade myself and then be able to draw. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to the top, then I'm going to be holding up and going right there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
All right.
Kind of?
Yes. Perfect.
Good.
That's I like it. That's something that we're not doing with our lower line blading. It's something we could add in. So if I am out on the range with a pro and I want to add in some training, some live training, can you show me what that would look like?
Yeah, it'll all be close engagements within an arm's reach of the target. Obviously, we would start by practicing a lot of shooting out of retention very quickly. Pictorial indexing, depending on the distance to the target, is one of them. Straight out of the holster into the center line of your body as well, and start creating that separation. At those kind of distances, the aggressor doesn't need that kind of experience to even stab you or take a shot at you. So I want to start creating that distance and try to break the engagement where I can actually use my skills that I have. If I have to take a shot at 5 yards or whatever, now my skills come into play. At these kind of distances, a lot of the stuff is going to be all combatives, right? How do I create the space? Another thing that we train is that where do we position our holster, right? Is appendix carry always the best carry? In a situation like this, not necessarily, right? I might want to carry at a 3 o'clock position, so when I'm blading, I'm creating a lot of distance for you to be able to reach and be able to pull that gun out. Right, so the 3 o'clock position might be more efficient at those kind of distances. For me to be effective at a appendix grip right here, I'm going to have to create the distance in order to draw. because you can grab that gun fairly quickly.
Right.
If you see that
right
there, you can grab
They're
that
gonna
gun,
go, right.
and now we're fighting for it. So if I'm on appendix, I know that if I'm in a close range situation like this, the first thing I need to do is to create that distance so I can draw effectively.
All right, so this is a drill that I came up with to really kind of in real time grade myself on my first 4 fundamentals. We've talked about this in another video, natural point of aim and how it relates to retention shooting. Directly related to exactly everything we've been practicing today, close proximity to the target. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna address the target at full address. I'm gonna identify my sight picture, my sight alignment, all that stuff, and then I'm gonna come back to retention, center line, and I'm gonna break a shot. And then I'm gonna come back up, and then I'm gonna break another shot here, and then eventually I'm gonna work into 1 at full presentation, 1 at retention, 1 at full presentation, 1 at retention. What I'm looking for is shots that are relatively center line, meaning in line with the central nervous system. So all those shots can arrive at the target anywhere between the head and the pelvis, and you're in good shape. So, all right, we'll get right to it.
All right.
All right, so I get my normal stance. I come up, identify my sight picture, sight alignment, everything. My grip's all good. I'm gonna come right back down to center line. Break the shot. I don't have any ear pro on, by the way, so this is even more fun. I'm gonna do it again. Ultimately, you saw like the first shot came up, it was like right here. And I'm okay with that from 3 yards. I'm pretty okay with that. Second shot was starting to work its way more to the center line. Once I was pretty happy with it, you saw I just kind of took off through the drill. Went 1 high, 1 retention, 1 high, 1 retention. So that way, every time I'm going through the motion of my presentation, I'm also going through the opposite motion of retention and then breaking a shot. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, Sifu, why don't you go through the drill 1 time, and then let's see what you think about it.
Okay.
All right, so adjust your grip, your body position to where, like, you make those little minor adjustments and then do it again. See how much closer you are?
Right.
There you go. Where'd that one go? There you go. There you go.
Feedback.
Yeah, so right now you see most of your shots are a little bit over to the left. And honestly, when I started doing this, that's what I found was generally in retention, I was shooting a little bit to the left. And I think part of that is body position and grip. As you present from the holster, you're coming across your body. And I think that's what causes us to shoot a little bit left or a little bit right if you're left-handed from retention. So knowing that will help you a lot. One, practicing it at 3 yards. I mean, we're at 3 yards, so this is well outside of that critical distance that we were practicing in the previous video. Ultimately, this is something that you need to practice, but each time you come back down, you break a shot, you can adjust your grip just a little bit. Just like you would if you were shooting rifle and you close your eyes, breathe, open your eyes. If you're not on your target, you adjust your body position a little bit. Same thing here. So you break that shot at retention. If you're not happy with it, adjust your grip and your body position a little bit. Dial those things in until you get good centerline hits from here and from here.
One of the grips, change position,
Yep.
that I do work out of quite a bit. I'm more of an angle,
Yep.
and I'm here. Is that acceptable for what you're doing?
Absolutely,
Like
sure. And so
And coming back to here.
practice it that way. Practice
Okay.
it. There you go.
That feels more comfortable.
There you go. All hits.
Okay,
What do you think?
I like it. You know, for me, we divide the mechanics up, which we've talked about, primary, secondary, and tertiary. And your primary mechanics are your most powerful, and they can you can take the most abuse. So the more connected I am to it, the more I'm able to use those motions.
This engine right here.
Yeah, and again, it's more retention than it actually is shooting, but that's one of the reasons I've been trying to do it from there is
Yeah.
when I'm working with the guys in the academy, that little change, it's a war.
It is.
So I try to bring it in a little tighter just to get it connected to that primary mechanic for
Yep.
control.
Yep, I agree.
And just play.
Easy.
Yeah.
Right? And in there, I've got to come over here
Right.
somehow.
That's way stronger for me,
Yep.
harder
Exactly.
for them to hang on to.
Now, if you were bladed off like that, I'm wondering, like, I'm still going to try and go that way, I think.
Right,
And then still try and get behind you here.
correct.
But you're right, absolutely. That bladed off right there, that is absolutely way stronger.
Yeah, we're usually plugging in giraffe wrestling, which you are very familiar with as an ex-wrestler. So that, you know, I'm going to be arguing with the head as I start to place rounds if I can.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of that.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, so and for the drill, I mean, you modify the drill to suit your body position. I think just starting out, the reason I chose here and here is because it's the last part of that presentation, and so it lends itself to building a fundamental mechanic from here to here, which is the last part of your presentation. So you can get more advanced with this drill where you can come and you break your first shot here. Notice how when I did that, my thumb is caught up in my shirt here. You see that? Now that will happen. So you've got to have a method for, personally my opinion is that you should be able to get your gun out of concealment with just one hand, right? Because your other hand's doing something else probably. Either this or whatever it's doing. You're probably not going to have both hands in a close encounter to be able to access your weapon system.
Agreed.
Right? So you have to have a method of going for your draw and your blade at the same time and clear it with one hand. And so that time when I came back down, see how much shirt I've got there? That is going to happen, but I can still engage from here without clearing that. Like in this close of an engagement, I'm not looking to get the full presentation. Does that make sense?
Sir.
So I think we do need to start coming up with these drills where you're forced to access your firearm with just one hand.
Agreed.
Same way you need to access any of your other weapons. You should be able to access a weapon with either hand. You're not always going to be able to access all of your tools with both hands, but you should have tools that are accessible to both hands that you can retrieve with just one hand.
All right. Thanks, Coach. I will work on it. Okay, guys, hopefully you got something out of that. Coach Ed, the guys, if they want to use that principle of proximity and come see you, how do they do that?
They can find us at tactical21.com. That's where we at.
All right. Guys, if you like the content that you're seeing, give us a like and subscribe so you'll get a notification the next time we release one of these videos.